Hey everybody, welcome, welcome to Hidden Horror. Thank you for spending this time with me. I appreciate that. Let's get started. Good afternoon, everybody. What's up? How y'all doing today? I'm doing good, feeling good. I'm having a good day today. So I've been so excited to come on today because I've been looking more into the mysterious deaths of several people in the Austin, Texas downtown nightlife area near Lady Bird Lake. I started a small collection on my YouTube channel because I kept seeing information about mysterious deaths where the family members they did not agree, and kind of what developed was a pattern where primarily white males were found deceased in the area of Lady Bird Lake. Now, my interest really was, is there a serial killer operating in this Austin, Texas area? Are they able to blend in? Are they able to hide in this area where there is a vibrant nightlife, stores, bars, entertainment, right? Where people are going to be enjoying themselves, having celebratory moments, possibly drinking. And the backdrop of all of this, the darkness, the hidden horror is, or possibly is, are the patrons being drugged? The people that are drinking, enjoying themselves, are they possibly potentially being drugged? That is my interest. Um, I want to always remind you that when I bring information, when I come on this platform, it is for a reason. It's to educate, it's to share information and to get the word out. And this is something that I really didn't know about. I didn't know this was going on. And as I've been looking into this more, this issue of the deaths at Lady Bird Lake or near the lake, I have been able to go back more than 10 years online, and I've been able to see that this idea of these drownings, these deaths near Lady Bird Lake, it's been going on more than 12 years. I have found records, I have found video, I have found, I would say, people that live in this area be interviewed and going back as long as 12 years where these deaths have been questioned. And for the most part, they have been deemed accidental. They've been deemed drownings. Um, they've been pretty much said to have no foul play, um, which is really contrary to some of the people that have passed away. They have shown that they've had some injuries, it appearing that they may have been in a struggle, a fight, where there has been some, you know, uh, interaction with someone else causing some injuries. Um, so this is where my interest is. This is why I'm staying on this case. I'm continuing to follow it, and it goes back years. You can go on some of these online platforms, just type in Lady Bird Lake deaths, and you also will find this history of drownings. You're going to see a lot about Lady Bird Lake. You're going to find out a plane fell into Lady Bird Lake and was submerged in the lake. You're going to find out that they have caught some huge fish. I think they caught like a 42 pound fish at one point, a 64-pound fish. You're going to find all kind of stories. But again, my interest is the deaths. Why are there so many deaths What is the city going to do about it? Are they going to improve some of the safety measures that have been recommended, such as the lighting, fencing, police patrol, video cameras, etc. Right? This is why I'm here. In the past, I brought you a video kind of informing you that they have a petition. They were seeking 5,000 signatures. They wanted people to support some of these deaths being reopened that were deemed non homicidal, that these were not homicides, that they were accidental deaths. That these cases are closed. People want some of these specific cases reopened, and there's really some great coverage by several outlets. I was going to do a video on one of the people that was found at the Lady Bird Lake area, but I decided not to because people have already covered this in detail, and you can just go and type it in and find those. I don't want to repeat any information, but some of the cases are extremely interesting to me. But overall, my overall message is there a possible active serial killer in Austin, Texas, in this area? Are they using this area to drop the bodies um, so they can have a call card, so they can have a name for this area? Um, I don't know. Um, I don't believe in a lot of coincidences. I say this all the time. I know I've said this before, and I'm not going to overlook the concerns of the family. It's very important that they are heard, that they feel confident in the Austin Police Department. Should this be looked at a state level? Because these are multiple deaths. Many people have been found deceased, and we need to know why. Um, I did go over one case where the person did not pass away. He has made a complete turnaround. He believes that he was possibly pushed, shoved over a bridge, and he's falling close into the area. He just didn't fall into the river that would have led him to Lady Bird Lake, but he survived. He doesn't know what happened to him, and his toxicology screen showed that he had rofinol in his system, which is known, it's just one of the drugs for date R or, assault. I can't use certain terms, so just read between the lines with it. But today I'm here. I want to inform you, sadly, between the months of August 2024 and September 2024, there have been 3 additional bodies found near Lady Bird Lake. One in the beginning of August 2024 and 2 in the month of September 2024, one about mid-September and one closer to the end of September. And I'm here to bring you that information. And I also love to provide solutions, right? So at the end of the video, if you want to stick around or fast forward to the end, if you're watching this a second time or going through it quickly, I'm going to provide some information. One, the city of Austin in April of 2024, they rolled out a program that is really to inform patrons, people that are visiting this area, that are going into the entertainment district, i.e., for example, some of the nightlife, some of the bars, some of the dance areas, places where you would purchase a drink. They want you to be safe. They want you to be careful. They want you to look after your friends if you're in a group, right? So that you're not possibly drugged. So I'm going to provide you with that information. It's a program that they rolled out. And, it's a start, right? It is a start. I think there has to be some accountability in this district, and we need more cameras. We need cameras in the business area, inside of the businesses, in the alleyways, because a lot of the people that have found deceased, they were initially starting their time the day of or the night before in this entertainment district, and then they were later found deceased in the area of Lady Bird Lake. So I really want to see more accountability with cameras. I want to hear more about thorough investigations, running down leads, asking questions, obtaining any video surveillance of these people that have passed away. And this will also help heal the family concerns. The people generally seem to be very good people. They come from families that really care about them, and they need answers. They're not comfortable and confident in some of the work that has been done by the police, and they want their questions answered. So I'm here to talk about it all. I'll be looking for questions or comments. I'll read those if I get any while I'm here live, okay? So let me pull up where we're going to start, because a lot of people may not be familiar with this area. I always think it's important, hey, let's see the lay of the land if possible. So I found a really great video that I want to share. It's about 3 minutes long. It's a video showing you the lay of the land. It's showing you Lady Bird Lake, okay, from the perspective of someone that's really going into the area to enjoy the lake, to get on the water, to kayak, paddle boat, for example, to take a ride, bike ride on the trail. It's going to show us a lot of this area, okay, from a local perspective. So I'm going to share that video now to start off. Just give me one moment. I'm going to share my screen. As you already know, they changed this, so it takes a lot more to share your screen than it used to. So the article that I'm sharing today, the video that I'm sharing is from Discover Austin, Lady Bird Lake, episode 9. Okay. It's titled Discover Austin with Craig Smizer. So let's give him a like, a follow, a subscribe, okay, if you want to. I enjoyed the video, and it wasn't extremely long, which, okay, I love that, right? We can get right in, we can see what we want to see, and we can go on, okay? So it's 3 minutes. I want to enlarge my screen. Now let's get started and check the video out.
Greetings, I'm Craig Smizer. I'm out enjoying a leisurely afternoon on Lady Bird Lake for this episode of Discover Austin. Lady Bird Lake runs on both sides and through downtown Austin. Its original purposes were for flood control and as a cooling pond for a power plant. Now, it's mostly used for recreation. Although part of the Colorado River, it is referred to as a lake because Longhorn Dam prevents it from being a free-flowing body of water. Known as Town Lake for many years, it was renamed Lady Bird Lake in 2007 to honor Lady Bird Johnson, who helped with a beautification project years earlier. As a side note, you'll sound like a local if you occasionally call it Town Lake and pretend you are still trying to get used to the new name. The lake is teeming with kayaks, canoes, and paddleboards, with numerous places available to rent these watercraft. Fishing is permitted, and you'll find a good population of catfish, bass, and sunfish. Use of most motorized boats is prohibited, and swimming in the lake is against the law as well. But there are 2 very popular pools nearby. First is Deep Eddy Pool, which is along the banks of Lady Bird Lake and is fed by a well. Second is Barton Springs Pool, which is a spring-fed pool feeding into Lady Bird Lake. There's a 10-mile hike and bike trail that makes a loop around much of Lady Bird Lake. It's a great place for hiking, biking, and walking. You'll find people from all walks of life using the trail, which crosses the lake in several places and has a boardwalk portion which runs for about a mile. There's usually something going on along the banks of Lady Bird Lake, as Zilker Park and Auditorium Shores both host a variety of events all year long, including the Austin City Limits Music Festival, South by Southwest, and the Food and Wine Festival, to name just a few. The Stevie Ray Vaughan statue is also along the shore. So whether you're on the water, on the trails, or with your dog along the banks of Lady Bird Lake, there's something out here for everyone. I'm Craig Smizer. Thanks for joining me for this episode of Discover Austin.
Okay, everybody. I don't know. I really enjoyed the video. I would visit the lake. I would go kayaking. I probably would rent pedal boats. I'm sorry, I'm an outdoors person. It makes me want to visit. It makes me want to go and go through their boardwalk. That looked amazing. I like the bike trails where you can ride a bike, you can skate, you can rollerblade, you could walk. I mean, looks like just a beautiful place to visit. And it wasn't like that in the beginning. In one of my prior videos, I talked about how they really poured money into this area. Um, they really had to develop it. They had to plant the trees, and this has been over a period of years, decades, right? So it's really a beautiful area. I can see why people want to be there. They want to go, they want to stop, they want to go for the view, they want to go for all of the water and just go swimming. Well, they can't swim in the water, but they have the two pools that they were telling you about. But it's just a beautiful area, right? So I wanted you to see that, see the layout, the lay of the land. So when we start unfolding and having this conversation, you can kind of understand where the concern lies. You can kind of see in the video the tall downtown buildings. You know, this is the area where people are going to be in the nightlife. They're going to go to the clubs, the bars, places to dance, just places to sit down, have dinner, have drinks, etc. And when they come into the downtown area, for these people that are now deceased, somehow they have made their way from that downtown area to pass away to be left in the area of Lady Bird Lake. How do they get there? How are they physically getting to the lake? How are they separating sometimes from their friends, from their family, from the party that they're at? And now they have ended up alone, possibly drowned and deceased. That's what we're here to talk about, okay? So I do have 3 articles to go over, and we have about 4 more videos, and then we're going to talk about the program Safely Austin that the city of Austin rolled out in April of 2024 to help protect patrons that are drinking in this downtown vibrant area, okay? So let me go. I'm gonna go to my first article. So I'm getting it ready now. I want to make sure I do it in the order, the proper order. I think this is the right one. Let's see. I have 2 more devices, so I'm gonna pull it up. Okay, it's not that one. I want to start with the death that was in August of 2024 and then go on to discuss the 2 deaths in September of 2024. Make sure I'm looking at the right one. I may have to even subscribe. I think they want me to subscribe. It's very hard to view the news now without subscribing to different services because a lot of our news, they're struggling financially, so they need people that read the news to do donations. Okay. I apologize. But they need us to support them with donations. I prefer to just donate because I would have really no reason to read the news in this area on a regular basis. Okay. I don't mind giving a donation. That's fine. I wonder if I can just, I literally just want to read. Um, well, I'll just say this. The title of the article is How Many Bodies Have Been Found in Lady Bird Lake? And it says, Here's What We Know. It's by the Austin American Statesman, and the writers are Alexis Zimmerman and Fernanda Figueroa. And this is dated August 16, 2024. I'm not going to be able to read the article. I guess I can read the beginning, but I'm not going to be able to read the article because I don't want to subscribe to the service and I'm not going to be reading the news there on a regular basis. Well, it might let me read it. I'm not sure. I tried to subscribe. I don't know if it went through or not, but let's go. The body of a deceased person was found in Lady Bird Lake on Saturday. This is the third death discovered in or near the popular lake in 2024. Here's what we know. Austin Travis County EMS and Austin Police found a body in Lady Bird Lake near Longhorn Dam on Saturday morning. During a media briefing, Officer Austin Zarling said APD, along with ATCEMS, responded to a check welfare call at 7:37 a.m. at Kriegfield 515 South Pleasant Valley Road. He said a fisherman had called after seeing a body floating in Lady Bird Lake. Zarling said the victim was pronounced dead at 7:52 a.m. So that means that when the police arrived, and that's about a 15-minute difference between the call and when the person was pronounced dead. That person was already deceased in the water. Okay. Although the APD's homicide detectives have opened an investigation, the death is not being investigated as a homicide. APD reports it appears to be an isolated incident and poses no threat to the general public. As of Monday, the identity of the deceased individual had not yet been released. At least 12 bodies have been recovered from the Central Texas Lake and the surrounding area in the last 22 months. The 11th body was found just 4 days before Saturday's event. Here is a list of reported deaths related to Lady Bird Lake. Ricky Parks, July of 2022. Christopher Gutierrez, December of 2022. Josu Moreno, December of 2022. Kyle Thornton, December of 2022. Jason John, February 2023. Clifton Axtell, March 2023. Christopher Hayes Clark, April of 2023. Jonathan Honey, April of 2023. Maga Dogal, June of 2023. One unidentified female, February of 2024, and two unidentified persons, April of 2024. Now, I do want to say this about the people they have not been able to identify. If the Austin Police Department can check through the missing persons reports, that may be helpful, particularly the unidentified female. It may be harder with the two unidentified persons because it appears that you don't know the sex of those two people. Um, I'm sure that you can work with your resources to figure that out. But a start would be the timing, when the person was found. And you also will be able to look at missing persons reports. You can also take any information that was found on the person. So their clothing, any earrings, any jewelry, any tattoos, any special marks on their body, anything that is remarkable, you can note that. So when you're trying to um, uncover who the person is, that can also help. Um, I know that there are resources out there to figure out the race of the person. Um, if you're able to get the fingerprints, if you're able to take DNA from a hair sample, I'm sure if you're able to collect their blood, you may be able to go that route. But I'm thinking of all kind of ways for these three people to still be unidentified months later. It's pretty sad. I guess it is possible because if they were in the nightlife, possibly, maybe they came from a different state. That's why it is also important to check those missing persons reports because that person could be from out of state and not be a local in this Austin, Texas area. So that is just some tips to help law enforcement. Also, I have not seen press conferences regarding these three missing persons, but it may be helpful to hold a press conference with all of the factual information known, where they were found, if you have their clothing, what they were wearing. Again, if they have any scars, tattoos, any remarkable um, injuries to themselves, if they have a special birthmark, um, if you know the style of their hair, could you have someone do a drawing to illustrate them with their height, their weight, potentially, possibly their race, etc. So that could also help you identify those missing persons. Okay, I'm going to continue with the article. Austin Travis County EMS discovered the body on April 9th while conducting a welfare check near the Lamar Boulevard Bridge. The deceased person was not in the lake itself, and the cause of death was suspected to involve cardiac arrest. Now, I do want to say something about that cardiac arrest. You want to be careful because certain drugs can exhibit cardiac arrest, could be a side effect of the drug. So that could be something. And when I say drugs, I mean like the GHB, the Rofinol, those type of drugs. That's something to look at. Okay. Despite the two most recent incidents not being investigated as homicides, There's been speculation about a serial killer in the Austin area. These rumors were further fueled when True Crime TV's Nancy Grace dedicated a 42-minute crime stories episode to the mysterious death. I did not watch Nancy Grace episode. I did see it online. Um, I know it had a lot of views, so it helped to get out the information about the deaths at Lady Bird Lake. Um, but I have not watched that episode. Look, you don't have to go to law school to figure out there's something very, very wrong at Lady Bird Lake, Grace says in the episode's opening. At the Austin Lake, four deaths were reported in 2022 and five were reported in 2023. Saturday's discovery marks the third in 2024. According to data gathered by the Fort Worth Star Telegram, Inside Edition, KXAN, and MySA, law enforcement determined no foul play was involved in four of these cases. This includes that of Ricky Parks, the first death recorded in July of 2022, along with Christopher Gutierrez, Kyle Thornton, and Christopher Hayes Clark. News outlets and police reports also show the deaths, the deaths of Jason John and Jonathan Honey were caused by accidental drowning. Only the case of Yosu Moreno was determined to be homicide when police determined he was shot while driving and his truck ended up in the water. The cause of death for Clifton Axtell in August of 2023 remains undetermined, according to KXAN. Okay, so I'm very thankful that I was able to read the article by the Austin American Statesman. Thank you. Okay, let's go on now. I want to go to my second article. I'm just trying to make sure where I need to be. Yes. Okay. So my second article is by mysanantonio.com. It's titled Scant Details After Another Body Found Near Lady Bird Lake. Police say there was no evidence of foul play, and they have consistently said this general statement in almost every case. Um, I don't want to think that these cases are being closed out with very little investigative efforts. However, when I keep seeing that, you know, I'm sure the families want to know what efforts was put behind the investigation. Because for me, it's very hard to make a determination if it's homicidal or natural death or accidental death if you don't know the victim. You can't really ascertain the circumstances of how they got somewhere if you don't know them, if you don't know what they were doing, where they were at. You don't have the moments leading up to their death, the days leading up to their death, the day of their death. If you don't know them, how can you make that determination? Um, and this could be based on maybe there's no physical injuries to the body, but if you're getting drugged, for example, you may not have physical injuries to your body that are visible. You'd have to find that drug in a toxicology screen. So um, that's still criminal intent if you're drugging someone and they pass away. So that's my concern. This article is by Christella Jones. It's dated September 19th, 2024. Central Texas authorities are investigating after another body was found near a popular body of water in downtown Austin. So this is talking about one of the two bodies that was found in September of 2024 in um, Austin, Texas, near Lady Bird Lake. The Austin Police Department confirmed late afternoon on Wednesday, September 18th, that a dead body was discovered about a block away from Lady Bird Lake. This is the latest of several bodies found in or around Lady Bird Lake over the past few years that have sparked serial killer rumors on social media, which the police have consistently refuted. Austin 911 received a welfare call around 2:57 p.m. from a person reporting a body spotted along the trail in the 2700 block of Canterbury Street near Lady Bird Lake, according to an APD briefing. APD Public Information Officer Corporal Matthew Nonweiler said officers responded and located an obviously deceased individual. Now, I do want to say this. In my efforts to investigate this case, I did go to the Austin Police Department's Facebook page and I really reviewed their postings. They post a lot. What I didn't find is I didn't find in the month of August or September any notation about these three deaths at Lady Bird Lake. They had a lot of information. They had posted a lot of videos, a lot of posts, posts about officers, post about training, post about recognizing weekly officers. I mean, they had a lot of posts, but none of the posts highlighted anything about deaths at Lady Bird Lake. They did have some other criminal posts about different incidents, videos, pictures, but nothing was about Lady Bird Lake. I don't know if that's intentional or if they're not posting these notices because they post other notices. So I'm not sure, but I didn't find anything on their Facebook page for the Austin Police Department. I did check. Okay, I did do my due diligence. Anyway, let's continue. In accordance with APD policy, homicide detectives responded and conducted a preliminary investigation which showed no signs of head trauma and there were no suspicions of foul play. He added that the body was not pulled from the water and there was no indication the body ever was in the water. I don't know why that matters if they're found in the water or near the water. They're still found in this area of Lady Bird Lake. And again, did you do a toxicology screen to see what was in that report? Was there any drugs in the report? Moreover, were those drugs paralyzing drugs, drugs that would make you forget, make you hallucinate, make you dizzy, make you black out, like Rofenhoff, for example, GHB. It's not enough to go off of just physically looking at a scene because we know allegedly these people possibly have been drugged, and that's why that program was rolled out in April of 2024 to keep people safe from being drugged, from drugs being placed in their drinks when they're in this downtown area. Like, we have to cut the BS, okay? We have to put real effort behind our work to keep people safe. Okay, let's continue. Afterwards, the Travis County Medical Examiner's Office responded and collected the remains. Nonweiler said this case is no longer being investigated as a homicide. APD did not say whether the body found was a man or a woman, but did say the medical examiner's office will be doing a more in-depth forensic examination to narrow down the person's time of death. How can you make that determination? You don't even know when they died. You don't know how they got to Lady Bird Lake. You don't know what, if anything, is in their system without a toxicology screen, which takes time. Have you identified the person? Have you actually given the death notification to their family? Have you found out where were they leading up to this, up to their death? Okay, I do have a video to share. Okay, so let me share my screen now. I want to make sure this is the right one. Yes, this is the right one. Okay. This is relating to the body that was found in mid-September. Okay. Um, it's on KVUE and it's titled Austin Police Give Update After Body Found Along Trail Near Lady Bird Lake. This video is less than 2 minutes long.
Good evening. My name is Corporal Matthew Nonweiler. That's MATTHEWNONWEILER with the Austin Public Information Office. At approximately 2:57, Austin 911 received a call, a check welfare call in regards to a person the complainant suspected was deceased along the trail in the 2700 block of Canterbury Street. Officers responded and located an obviously deceased individual. In accordance with APD policy, homicide detectives responded and conducted a preliminary investigation, after which the medical examiner's office responded and collected the decedent. The preliminary investigation shows that the decedent had no signs of trauma. There is no suspicion of foul play, and it is not being investigated as a homicide at this time. I would like to add that the body was not retrieved from the water, and there is no indication that the body ever was in the water. And at this time, I can take any questions you might have.
Can we confirm if it was male or female?
The question is as to whether the decedent was male or female. We cannot confirm that at this time.
Do you know how long they were out there?
I do not know how long they were out there. Again, this is a preliminary investigation. The medical examiner will be able to do a more in-depth forensic examination to kind of narrow down the time frame of death. Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Listen, they lucky I wasn't there. They are lucky I was not there. How can you make that determination that it's not a homicide if you don't know who your victim is? You don't have sex of the victim. Have you notified the victim's family? Do you know their whereabouts, their circumstances, how they got here? What was their toxicology screen? If they didn't have any injuries, how were they found? What was the positioning of the body? Did it appear to be assault? I have questions. They got off easy. They got off extremely easy. But you know what? We got another death. We have another death that we have to go over. My next article, I'm telling you. Okay. My next article is from fox7austin.com. It's titled New Details Released in Death of Man Pulled from Lady Bird Lake. It's by Fox 7 Austin Digital Team. It's dated October 2nd, 2024. The Austin Police Department is continuing to investigate the death of a man who went into the water at Lady Bird Lake and did not resurface over the weekend. Now, you know there's no swimming at Lady Bird Lake. Swimming is prohibited. So, why would one get in the water? Are they possibly drugged? We don't know. That's the problem. We don't have the answers to the questions. Let me continue. APD says the man's death is not being investigated as a homicide. Do you see the pattern? Do you see the pattern that is laid out before us? It's going to go like this. There's no trauma to the body. Does not appear to be foul play. There's no injuries. Therefore, we're not investigating it as a homicide. Moving along. And it's body after body after body after body. That's the sandwich. No injuries. Appears to be no physical injuries. Doesn't appear to have any foul play. We don't even know who the person is. We don't know the gender sometimes. We have unidentified people. We don't know their whereabouts. We don't know how they got here. We don't know the time of death. We haven't done a toxicology screen. Do we know the race, the age? This is another male, right? Hasn't it been primarily males, white males found? Don't we know that a lot of these people were in the nightlife first? And we're already saying it's not a homicide? Where is the investigation? I stand with the families. Where is the work? Have you tried to obtain video? Have you canvassed the area? Have you gone through this business district? Have you tried to figure out their whereabouts? Have you got their cell phone records? Where were they? Where were they? Who did they call? Who were they with? Where were they before they got to Lady Bird Lake? You want to say it's no foul play and we're not going to investigate it. I stand with the families. On September 29th at around 2:16 p.m., Austin 911 received a report about a man in the 500 block of West Cesar Chavez Street who was screaming and yelling and then crawling on the bank and rolling into the water. Screaming, yelling, and crawling. The caller also said he could hear the man screaming while swimming and punching the air until he went underwater and didn't resurface. Austin Fire and ATCEMS crews responded and were able to locate and pull the man out of the water. AFD and ATCEMS crews attempted life-saving measures, but the man later died. So did they do a toxicology screen to see if there were any drugs in his system? A witness interviewed by police said he saw the man screaming, punching trees, and foaming at the mouth. Foaming at the mouth while walking on the hike and bike trail. The witness reported seeing the man entering the water between the trail and West Cesar Chavez Street, where he began swimming and continued to scream and punch before he went underwater. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Austin Police Department at 512 974 TIPS. You can submit your tip anonymously through the Capital Area Crime Stoppers program. And you can click on that link that's on the Hidden Horror Facebook page for the link in the article, or you can call 512-472-8477. Let me go to the video. Let me go to the next video. This video is less than 1 minute. The video is by KVUE. It's titled, "Man Was Behaving Erratically Before His Body Was Found in Lady Bird Lake," according to APD.
Austin police are investigating what led to a death at Lady Bird Lake. Just before 4:30 yesterday evening, police found a man dead in the water near the intersection of Nueces Street and West Cesar Chavez Street. That was downtown. Police say witnesses saw the man shortly before he died.
We had an adult male who is behaving erratically, entered the lake, did not resurface, and was pronounced deceased. With acting erratically, like waving of the arms, punching, just behaving in a manner that wouldn't be consistent with normal behavior with someone else.
Well, medical examiners are working to determine the official cause of death. We'll continue to track this investigation for more details.
I get it.
I really don't want to say what I was thinking. When she said not behaving like someone else, was he possibly drugged? Was a drink spiked? Where did he come from prior to being in this area? Okay. I want to go to some videos that I found interesting. TMZ did a video, and he kind of talked about, there's a group of them talking about what's happening at Lady Bird Lake. So I wanted you to check this video out. And then I'm going to go and lead into what has been done to introduce some safety measures in this area, including the Safe Sip Austin program. So let's start with the TMZ video, and then we'll go into what the city of Austin is doing to try to keep people safe. So this video is by TMZ. It's titled, "Is There a Serial Killer in Austin? Strange and Suspicious TV Show." Okay, so it's about 6 minutes long. Let's get started.
There's something weird in Austin, Texas.
5 bodies pulled from Lady Bird Lake in just 6 months.
A dead body to shore this morning along Lady Bird Lake.
Austin police recovered a body from Lady Bird Lake this afternoon.
Since 2022, 12 bodies have been found in Lady Bird Lake. And
let me just pause this so y'all can really see. I've had pictures up before about where the bodies were placed, but I don't have one in this video. So I just want you to see that again. So I'll just go over the names again. So you have Manga Dogali and then an unidentified person pretty close to each other right here. Then you have Josu Moreno and Clifton Axtell kind of close to each other. And then you have an unidentified female from February of 2024. And if you go down a little bit further, you have Kyle Thornton on the other side in December of 2022. Then you have Jason John, February of 2023, and Jonathan Honey in April of 2023. You go down a little bit more, you have Ricky Parks. That was July of 2022. And then where Lady Bird Lake is down here, you have Christopher Hayes Clark in April of 2023. And then 1 year later almost, you have someone that still hasn't been identified. And then on the other side of the lake, you have Christopher Gutierrez, which was in December of 2022. So I'll continue their video now.
the authorities are saying their accidental drownings, their suicide, but no foul play. That seems really weird to me.
A man reported missing at the end of March was found dead in Lady Bird Lake over the weekend.
It's the second time this year a man in his 30s was found in the lake.
There are signs that there are similarities with some of the victims here. Most of them are men. There's even a theory that this was somebody who was going after gay people. It just is weird.
People, all male, all alone, gone.
Queer men, bisexual, gay men have certainly been targeted. Specifically, I think this theory is alluding to apps like Grindr, where people are targeting them. And there's even a witness statement, I think, from a bartender who mentioned, "I want to go after and kill homos," is what he said.
Since last February, the city's installed more lights and cameras along the trail closer to Rainey Street.
I had also read that they were now, because all these people have been found, in this lake, that they're now putting up like maybe security fences and things like that. But I can totally imagine guy goes out to a bar, gets drunk, he's walking along, there's no security fence, falls in.
We're learning more about a body that was found in Lady Bird Lake on Monday afternoon. Just a few minutes ago, Austin police say this case is not being ruled a homicide at this time.
What I find really troubling with Austin PD is ultimately what they come out as the disposition for these bodies. Some of them are just undetermined, but it's not a homicide. Well, if it's undetermined, how can you say it's not a homicide? In addition to which, when you're doing an autopsy, you should be able to tell whether they died from drowning or some other way. And if you're not disclosing that, why not?
It's also a tourist destination and one of their big draws for the state. I mean, you got all these nightclubs. Do you really want it out there that there's a possible serial killer? Because it could create a frenzy or hysteria. On the other side, you got some cops that would love nothing more than to be working on a serial killing investigation. See, it's a push-pull.
One of their reasons was that there's no through pattern, like with all of them. And they're saying, well, with most serial killers, they identified Ted Bundy, it's got to be a woman, dark hair and all this stuff.
Everything is accidental, undetermined, like not being in bed. Like it's just too many, oh, well, it just so happened.
Well, Ashley, you're a mathematician. 12 bodies in 2 years.
I need so many more numbers than that. I mean, given the population, it's not completely unheard of, especially if there's bars nearby and a body of water. Even when I'm sober, swimming is pretty rough.
There are bodies of water near almost every metropolitan area, but you really, to your point, you don't really see numbers this close together with a lot of accidental drownings in one specific place. So there's either something geographically wrong with the area that makes it dangerous, or there's something else going on here that we don't know.
You know what it reminds me of a little bit? Is that you look at the Gilgo Beach serial killer.
Rex, did you do it?
For 11 years, they dismissed it. And it's nothing. Well, they're finding these bodies. And at a point, not all of it's accidental, not all of it's disconnected.
You do have a party place next to dangerous place. Like when I went to college, I went to UC Santa Barbara, and Isla Vista is on the cliffs, right, and the beach is right below. Every year, somebody falls off the cliff. Sometimes they die, sometimes they don't.
I was at that school for 4 years, and nobody did that.
I do also think there's a problem with the police department. In 2008, Riyad Hamad was found on the bottom of the river, duct taped, hands bound, feet bound, duct tape on his eyes, and they said it was accidental. It was a suicide.
That's crazy.
They said it was a suicide.
But I think in every serial killer investigation, doesn't it always start out with law enforcement pretty much not going out and saying, hey, it's a serial killer? It takes time for them to really come to that, because it's such a rare occurrence.
But this isn't rare.
There's no transparency between what the investigation that the police are doing and the public that want answers. And that's why everybody's questioning it.
This is definitely a dumping ground of sorts. If you've got all these bodies showing up in a mass of water, maybe several of these bodies that do have consistent through lines to them, to their kills or accidental drownings, they could be a part of something bigger.
Maybe a serial killer knows that this is a place that people tend to fall in. So he's like, let me just use this as the dumping ground, because then the law enforcement's not going to think it's a serial killer.
They want to accomplish what's in their fantasy, and they need to get away with it. That's what they're thinking about.
Serial killers are not normal people, right? So what drives them to do that? There's something specific in that killing that gives them pleasure and excitement or gets them off. And so that's where the MO comes in, that they will have it's like a ritual for them.
What if a serial killer says, you know what, that's what they think, they're looking for. So I'll just do it differently each time, but I'll keep doing it and I'll outsmart the cops.
It's possible, but a lot of them have like real specific things that either turn them on or that are their ideal fantasy that they're trying to do. But
Well, the
is
fantasy
possible.
might be escaping the police.
And the other fantasy might be, I want to try this, I want to try this, I want to try that. Like they're experimenting with different things. It's possible.
My name is Norma.
Okay, let me close that one out. So I found their back and forth commentary to be interesting. They're putting out a lot of different ideas. And I just wanted to share that with you. Now I'm going to move on to another YouTube video. The last video I'm going to show, and it's going to talk about, what is Austin doing now? This video is about a year old, so they could be doing more, but this was something that I found that I wanted to share. So I'm going to do that now, share my screen. It's by KVUE and it's titled City Officials Detail Safety Following Second Body Pulled from Lady Bird Lake. Now remember, this video is about 1 year ago, okay? So let's check it out. It's 2.5 minutes long.
Jordan Nakes, we'll check back in soon. Tonight, another body pulled from a lake near a popular Austin trail. It's the second time in roughly a month, and loved ones who have been pushing for change say they're not surprised this happened again. KVU's Kelsey Sanchez talked to city leaders who say they're looking into what more can be done.
Lady Bird Lake near Rainey Street was filled with people running and biking on Sunday. But on Saturday, it was the scene of something much more grim.
It was like almost a flashback, almost having to relive what had happened with Jason's family.
Austin police say 33-year-old Jonathan Honey was pulled from the water near Rainey Street. He was reported missing on Friday. The incident coming just nearly 2 months after Jason John's body was found in the same area. City Council member Zoe Caudry, who has been pushing for more safety on the trail, says Honey was visiting from out of town on a bachelor trip and was contacted by Honey's best friend's fiance.
My heart goes out to his family and his loved ones and his friends.
Last month, the city installed solar-powered lights and fences ahead of South by Southwest as a temporary fix, with plans for a more permanent solution.
Caudry says the point of this fence is to ensure that extra layer of safety. But with this recent incident, he argues more needs to be done and is now taking his request to the mayor's office.
We need to look at to see what else we can do to make sure, or kind of just get to the bottom of this. Like, why does this keep happening? I mean, it's just ridiculous. And we just need to do better.
Mitchell Gutierrez, who lost his brother Martin in 2018, has been fighting for city leaders to do more. And although he is grateful some change was made, he says it's still not enough.
In all honesty, I wasn't surprised. Yeah, the city made the fence and all that, but what we needed was lighting and cameras. That's what we needed. That wasn't done. It happened again. I don't know if there's someone doing this or what's going on, or there's so many theories going on out there, but you can't prove what you can't see.
Gutierrez says he plans to keep fighting for change and to meet with city officials again. Until then, he has one message for everyone.
If anyone's listening, just do not go to Rainey Street alone. Go in groups, and just be safe.
In downtown Austin, I'm Kelsey Sanchez.
Something I want to just pop in. That's one of the victim's brothers, Mr. Gutierrez's brother. I want to say it's not just about going in a group, because a lot of the deaths prior to them ending in this area of Lady Bird Lake, some of them were in groups. But I think when they got away from the group, or possibly if they were drugged, they separated from the group. That's how they met their demise. So yes, it is very important to go in the group and stay with the group, but also watch your drink, or don't drink at all. I know that's kind of hard if you're ordering food, if you're celebrating a bachelor party or something like that. But in this area, You have to be very, very careful. Possibly if somebody is spiking drinks and drugging people. I did find out from my research that there have been a lot of incidents where people have been taken advantage of, they've been robbed, their credit cards have been stolen, their money has been taken out of their bank accounts. Um, they've had some pretty bad things happen to them from being beat up. Um, to possibly getting into the wrong car. They've ordered a car and now they've been taken advantage of, they've been robbed, etc., etc. I've been looking into this and reading about this, and I didn't want to bring some of that because I didn't want to take the focus away from the facts of um, the people that we know have passed away in this area, but there have been some bad experiences in the nightlife in any large city, right? In any downtown entertainment area, there's going to be scams, there's going to be fraud, possible thefts, etc. So I didn't want to get off that topic too much, but that has been happening in this area. So I want to move my attention to what I said I would talk about last, which is there is a program to combat, to reduce the possibility of your drink being spiked, you possibly getting drugged, and it's called Sip Safely Austin. So I want to share my screen to show you about the program. It rolled out in April of 2024. And they have a website. It's on austintexas.gov, and it's a drink spiking program to push awareness. So if you haven't been taking these measures, you can start taking these measures to prevent your drink from being spiked, okay? So I'm going to go over this now. In April of 2024, the city of Austin launched Sip Safely, a pilot program designed to raise awareness about the crime of drink spiking and provide prevention education. Drink spiking is the act of adding additional alcohol or drugs to a drink without the knowledge of the person consuming it. A spiked drink makes the person drinking it susceptible to criminal acts, including assault and robbery. Protect yourself and others from drinking spiking. Okay. I want to go down so you can follow along. Okay, here are some tips. Never leave your drink unattended. Watch your drink being poured. Be cautious about taking a drink from someone you don't know. Use a drink cover. Watch out for others in your party. Okay. An individual who consumes a spiked drink will show symptoms within 10 to 30 minutes. These may include the inability to clearly communicate, poor coordination or vision, hallucinations, paranoia, confusion, disorientation, nausea, vomiting, and unconsciousness. Now, I'm going to show you, I shared on my Hidden Horror Facebook page the flyer, okay, that they created for this program, Sip Safely. So I want to share that. So I have to kind of go on here and I want to show you the flyer. Okay. So this is the flyer. I don't know if I can make it. Okay, this is fine. It's going to go over very similar information, but there is some advice. Again, if you suspect that you're a victim of spiking, you can call 911. And you can also go to austintexas.gov/sip safely. There's a QR code you can scan. But I just want to talk a little bit more about prevention. I know sometimes we have to make ourselves aware, right? We have to know that something is going on. And if we don't know, share this information so that we can open up this dialogue so people can be safe. I want you to know that when someone spikes a drink and they're using that GHB, the rofinol, it does not have any color, it does not have any taste. So if it's placed in the drink, you're not going to know it because you're not going to taste it. You're not going to see your drink change color. You won't even know it. And it leaves the body pretty fast, but the effects are deadly, they're dangerous. Deadly in the sense that it makes you susceptible to a lot of things. You could black out where you're having a loss of time, black out for 12 hours. You are not going to have control of your body functions. You're blacked out. Okay. It's not just about being confused or disoriented. You're not going to have any memory of that time. And that's what makes it very, very dangerous, very, very scary. It's a real serious situation when you're vulnerable and when you're not safe, when you're out in the public or you're with someone or someone has taken you or kidnapped you or are holding you, and you don't even know what's going on. It's a scary situation. So I want you to share this information about everything that we've discussed today because it's happening, it's out here, it's real, it's been happening for decades. Decades. And a lot of people may not know, especially some people from the younger generations. It's been around for decades, but it's always good to share information and moreover, share the prevention parts, how to reduce it, how to stop it. And this is why it's very significant to the families when they say we need those cameras, because if you can't taste it, if you can't see it, how do you prove this happened? The person is not going to have any memory of it. And then a lot of these people, possibly, potentially, if this happened to them in these deaths, they're gone. Their family has no idea what happened to them. In the few video that they do have, they see their loved one disoriented. They're not acting normal, and you can tell something has happened to them. So I just want to get that message out for prevention's sake, okay? So I'm going to keep following this story about Ladybird Lake, all of the deaths, and if something more comes up, I will bring it to you. I will share the information. Please remember, stay safe, stay savvy, okay? Be well, all my friends. Take care of yourself, okay? Be smart, okay? Take care, everybody. Bye.